Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes, the new thesis in German. Uh,
Well, no,
and
we're watching it in Japanese with English subtitles.
with a German title.
Well, no, I think you'll find that the title is actually in Japanese as well. Its subtitle is in German.
Legend of the Galactic Heroes doesn't sound like a Japanese title to me.
Well, Griff, if you look very between us, right around here, you'll see a overlay which features Japanese text above
Ah,
German letters. So,
allow me to destroy this. Ginga eiyuu densetsu neue thesis. Kaiko, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. No, is that just a third translation? I don't know. Anyway. So, before we continue butchering stuff further, let's go ahead and talk about the show. Theta, I imagine you got a lot of things to think about from last time. What are your thoughts?
you've got a lot of things to think about from last time. I guess we should say right off the bat, though, we're watching two episodes back to back right here.
Hmm.
Um, So, much like last time, don't expect any hard hitting thoughts next episode, as it's literally just going to be whatever we got left with this time. It'll be the fifth episode where I have an opportunity to Theta's thoughts on those last two things, and from then on, it'll be a single episode at a time that we're watching.
Hmm.
So, don't edge of your seat wait for things that we missed this time around. So, my thoughts on the last two episodes. Uh, just some uh, just some little facts to remember. That
Okay.
SE796, which is the year, is equivalent to IC487. Don't know what the letters stand for. It's just said in the last two episodes that we're in
Mhm.
796, and the second episode's like, that's the same as IC487.
It's gonna drive me insane. I'm gonna tell you that.
I mean, so long as it works on a one for one basis, right? It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, this is what the year is on the Jewish calendar versus the Gregorian calendar. That we're not in
Hmm.
different years or that the years aren't made up the same amount of time span, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. The Astarte star zone was the site of the first combat in episode 1, whereas we also have the slaughter of Dagoon, which is the previous fight where the Empire lost before episode 1.
Yep. Yep.
We have the Golden Bomb Dynasty of the Galactic Empire, and the Galactic Imperial Palace is on New Sansosi? Sanssouci. Sorry, that's the double S next. So I'm trying to figure out where that goes in there. We also have the Free Planets Alliance and the Dominion of Fezan, which has not appeared yet.
Yep.
The Empire and Alliance are at war. The Dominion is neutral.
Hmm.
The distance between the two fleets at the start of the first episode was 2,200 light seconds, or 409,820,000 miles, or 4.408 AU, which was a lot shorter of a distance than you threw out when we
I
were
think I
watching.
had an extra zero on there, so that was my bad.
I think you said like 4,000 AU, which would be the
Well, I started
elimination.
with 22,000 light seconds, which is obviously wrong.
Well, it would be the decimation of a decimal point and the replacement of a comma. So
Mhm.
you were doing European math. They also say that they will be making contact in roughly 6 hours, which I'd assume to mean the effective range of their weapons. Assuming that they are making best speed towards their objective, and we can see that the Alliance ships are largely unmoving, as even on their displays they are still and the Imperial forces are moving towards them. This
Mhm.
also puts the speed of their ships at about 18,973 miles per second, or 0.0002 AU a second, or basically a little over 10% the speed of light. With very little research, there are
Mhm.
a number of suggested modern day technologies that could be used to propel ships at that speed. So, insane to consider, but quite based in reality.
Well, obviously, like when it comes to space, you keep your momentum. You can keep accelerating until you get there. I think the Voyager satellite, right, is technically going appreciable percentages of the speed of light at this point. Not quite enough, but I mean, it got there over what, like 3, 4 decades. So it's possible. But that they can do it within 6 hours is also far more appreciable, I think. far more human scale.
No, it's all human scale.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what your
But
point was there. I'm saying that we could literally do this modern day.
look, if you told me you can get me up to speed in 40 years, I'm not going to say that's something I want in my life.
I mean, technically, they say a solar sail can get you
Mm.
up to 10% the speed of light.
Yeah. But of course, it's how fast is that going to happen?
Yeah, you're talking rate of acceleration. I'm just
Yep,
saying, you're so quick to destroy the science of the show, Griff.
yep.
It's like there's not even a
science lad.
reason. I mean, there's not even a reason. I'm saying that they could do this in real life, and you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, but nothing. They could do this in real life, Griff.
All right, what else
It
you
was
got?
a passing comment, but one of the admirals mentioned that Reinhard's sister had a relationship with the Kaiser that made him cocky.
Yeah, they were going over it briefly, and I know we've kind of been joking about Reinhard and his first officer having a thing, but clearly there's like other political reasons for why he was shoved out into a terrible scenario to go ahead and just die. But his cockiness is paying off and is kind of fully
I
justified,
mean,
really.
you literally got the opposite read on the situation than I was noting.
Okay.
I think he was being made cocky because he had a leg up on everybody, and you're like, I don't know why you would say he was cocky if he's being punished. So I don't know where your side comes from.
He thinks he can get away with everything, would be my interpretation.
I mean, my interpretation is he has the Kaiser's ear, so he can do whatever he wants.
I
So,
guess what this comes down to is Reinhard, we need to see him more in his normal political element and not as a fleet master, and see how he starts interacting with people. That's what I need to see
well, we
here.
started seeing at the end of episode 2.
A tiny bit. We saw like him walking up, yeah.
So he
So they
taking
will
the
get the
knee in
party
front of
after.
the Kaiser.
Mhm.
It's kind of funny to consider not 3 weeks ago we were watching Canute in Vinland Saga raising his hand to command the waves of the ocean to stop in order to show man's powerlessness over nature. And here
Mhm.
we are in space with one man commanding 20,000 ships with a similar hand gesture, commands the stars to be filled with blinding light, and it happens.
Oh, the differences in genre, huh?
Well, I'm just noticing now that I've made 2 different notes now that we're going to be reading out over 2 different days of me poking fun at Canute. Because apparently slapping Vinland Saga in the face is what I do now.
Look, it's perfectly fine for a historical drama-ish show to say we aren't gods, and it is perfectly fine for a sci-fi show to go, and now we are gods.
Historical drama where kid jumps a football field in one leap.
Highly dramatized, yes. Have you seen the show The Vikings
No,
yet?
we've literally
I
had
think
this
I asked you back
conversation.
that at the beginning of when we started Vinland Saga. We've had a whole year since then.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to watch 2 Viking shows at the same time.
But yeah, no, they like highly dramatize a lot of stuff there too. It's like obviously you don't know what everyone's conversations were, but people still pull off shit. And it's because it's a show, it's gotta be fun.
When the expeditionary fleet smashes the 4th fleet and turns towards the 6th fleet, they are estimated to be 4 hours away. Since we know the expeditionary fleet's effective speed, we know that the 6th fleet was spaced out from the 4th fleet in their encircling maneuver by 273,211,200 miles. There's a lot of 200s in there.
A lot of
Or
numbers.
2.9 AU, which means that they were closer to the Central Fleet than they were the Sixth
Hmm.
Fleet.
I'm not sure what kind of observation I can give here. Like
Literally,
we
the observation is observational. That's the point of the comment.
we have seen it. Something that does strike into my mind is how close the ships actually are during the maneuver where they are trying to like split through the middle. Because on the screens, like they show like the holographic images of all the triangles being really close, and we kind of get like a visual of things seem like they're on sidelines of each other. But if we're still separated by these millions of miles, is some of this visual dramatized.
Oh no, that's separated by millions of miles in the exact scene. You're conflating the scene I'm describing with the scene that you're talking about. They're not separated by that distance when they're spearheading their way through the middle of the fleet. We've literally saw one ship opened up missile ports and laid into a ship right next to it. They were not millions of miles apart. The scene you're describing, they're literally piercing through the center of their formation. The scene I'm describing, they are literally 2.9 AU away from each other.
Yeah, I kind of want to know, like, what are those distances at that point? I think that's something I want to keep an eye on.
Well, you could probably try and figure out the speed of a missile in modern day, and then pierce it out through the number of seconds it takes them to show the missile firing to hitting another ship, and then base the speed off of that. It's math.
But they're
you're good at
space missiles.
Doesn't matter. So you subtract for wind resistance. You subtract the speed that you would normally, or not the time. You would subtract the time you would normally accumulate for wind resistance to not exist. Otherwise, there's no point in saying them, but they're space missiles. Cool. Don't fire them in the ocean, I guess.
Yeah, no, very, very ill-advised there. What else?
That's my favorite Futurama joke. How many depths can we take? Well, it's a spaceship, so between 0 and 1.
Yep.
Despite being on the incompetent Vice Admiral Moore's ship, Lieutenant Commander Jean Robert Lapp essentially came up with with your character's idea in a vacuum, and suggested it to Moore as well. It was only Moore's self-admitted incompetence that prevented him from being the hero of the battle and turning him into one of its many victims.
Yeah, I think that's like an appropriate read. No one seems stupid on the show, except, of course, gross incompetence man, right?
Well, I mean, that is the definition.
And even then, not so much stupid as completely ego-driven and unwilling to actually recognize what's in front of them, which is a different slight issue, I suppose.
Because apparently the only people that get to see what's happening are the people on the bridge. They have to have vessels scouting themselves to tell that they've taken damage.
Yeah, no, I love that scale. That's just kind of crazy. And also the lack of sci-fi sensors everywhere.
It feels like one of the themes going on here is another kill the past motif, but mainly where it comes to military officers. Sort of like when you look at the writings of Clausewitz and how he compares to the evolving of new tactics and strategies on the battlefield. We have Admiral Meerkatz lamenting his status as an old soldier as he watches Lohenheim von Hohenheim. As he watches Lohengram's strategy unfold successfully, whereas we have Vice Admiral Pieta on the other side insisting their officer's veteran status means more than some new ideas. Hell, it's like the last line of the chorus from the opening song. For the candles in the darkness, burning up the sorrow, there's no end to sadness we didn't learn. For the broken-hearted people, diamonds now surround us. So out of our mind, leave the past behind.
Ah, good observation. We found the text of the story, everyone. I think we did it.
Well, the show has multiple openings, so who the fuck knows? It was until
we got to see like what the show actually wants to talk about.
It was until the last season of Witch from Mercury that we started pulling shit out of the song. So we keep seeing the Leonidas torn up completely after it got smashed into by a fellow ship, and then had their forward guns shoot into its hull at the same time. But we have also cut to that bridge to see everyone floating around. I couldn't tell if it was a normal anime par showing us unconscious people, or if it was our indication of their failure and we were showing the grim reality of their deaths. I went ahead and assumed grim reality, and just to consider those people dead. Sorry, I'm parsing my own notes here to not read the things that I don't want to read.
That was my assumption too, though. It's like we were looking at the dead, the human toll, and the representation that everything came at a cost, right? That seemed like what we were doing.
All right, I'm just gonna link you a thing real quick.
Oh, we got a thing.
Because of course we do.
Concept board time. We
But
got
and then
two
I'm also
lines
going
here.
to read this out while you're loading that up. At the end of episode 2, Reinhard gets promoted to the highest non-wartime naval rank, High Admiral, for which we've met no others so far, to the highest wartime naval rank, Imperial Fleet Admiral.
Mhm.
As he went from a position with no visible peers in the military to another position with no visible peers in the military, his overall status on the board remains unchanged.
Yeah, still the highest person here, and is going to be in charge of the entire
And I
maneuver.
also realized this when I was reading out my other thing that I had mentioned the board before I'd
Uh,
given away that I had made one. I went ahead and assumed grim reality and marked them as dead for now on the board, as you may have already seen or not, depending on how future me decides to reveal his thoughts. So, past me did not consider putting the board out yet.
Passing the buck along. There you go.
That's right. That guy can't defend himself.
Screw future you. Uh, so yeah, right now, two different groups, completely separated, no contact between them. The
Well, I mean, there
only thing
were.
we have is a technical line here, and that's it. But,
Well,
like,
again,
obviously, right?
we just assume. If you want to erase that real quick, we just assume that these are opposing forces and that anybody on this side, until proven otherwise, is an enemy of somebody on this side. So if there
Those are
turns
maybe
out
the
to
only
be
two have communicated
if
with each
it
other,
turns
though.
out to be like there's a somebody over here is like colluding or something, I'll draw a connective green line between the two.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that red lines are just fucking assumed that we don't
Mhm.
need them. So
Yeah, they'd be all over the place.
anything over here, I just try to make political. These two didn't directly support him, and they seem to be more in line with Staten's beliefs. But Staten is the only one who seems outwardly like fuck that guy. So I made him the one red opposition line. And of
Yeah,
course,
maybe.
these are the two supporters. They're also in hierarchy of rank.
Mhm.
Admiral is above Rear Admiral. Is above sorry, other way. Admiral is above Vice Admiral, which is above Rear Admiral. The only reason I put the captain up here is because, of course, their special connection. Because he's just a captain. He said he was going to
Right.
get promoted to Commodore, which would still put him bottom of the tier. It's
He's still
basically
in command of his boat.
it's basically
That's
what I
it.
just described about with the Imperial Fleet Admiral, what I've got him listed as. He was High Admiral, which would have put him right here. Then he got
Mhm.
promoted to right here because he had no peers. This guy was a captain, which would put him down here. But then when they get home, he's going to promote him to Commodore, which would put him right here. So,
Same place.
yeah. And of course, I mean, because we've seen the majority of the Imperial structure. Well, we've seen more of it than, the Alliance. So we've actually got the Kaiser up here.
Mhm.
Whereas all this has just been three different fleets. Of course, all three fleet commanders are dead, or assumedly, until maybe we see. I didn't know about
Even just the
Theta.
boy.
Last we heard, Theta was gravely wounded, right? Not dead. They were ordering him to get somebody to send him to a medical wing or whatever. But it didn't seem like he was alive at the end. So he's got the dead mark on him until we see him alive later.
He's got a big question mark for sure.
And whereas everybody else here, and of course,
More
John
verifiable.
Robert Lapp, the other guy who had basically your dude's feelings on the battle before we saw him doing it, and his girlfriend Jessica didn't. And basically, anybody I saw got a pop up with their like name and rank.
Mhm.
Fuck it, they're on the board. Except for Jessica, who got name dropped. Take care of Jessica if I don't make it. Well, fuck it, she got to get on the board for that. And I had a
There's
picture.
no way Jessica is not going to be involved. There is going to be a rebound relationship here. You know what?
Well, I mean, he's in the picture. Your boy Wang here is in the picture with Jessica. So it's not like they don't know each other.
Exactly, like, they already have a pre-existing relationship, and it's gonna be the rebound
I
now, or he's
didn't
gonna go back home and have to explain, it's like, "Yeah, he kinda died because everyone else is terrible."
Well, I mean, I didn't connect them here on the board because I want to see what develops first. Like, if
Yeah.
he shows up to tell her the bad news or something, and she's like, I blame you for this, right? That's completely different than just writing her down as green right now.
Right.
Also, we don't know how long ago this was taken. Look at his hair. He looks like he has blonde hair in the picture. He has brown hair right here.
No, that seems like the same shade
Nope,
still.
definitely not the same shade. That is clearly a blonder hair color. That's clearly a browner hair color.
I mean, that's a lot of shadow, and this is, like, bright
There's
sunlight,
no
so
shadow. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at. I'm like looking at the picture of the picture, and you're looking at the other one. We're doing it in reverse order.
yeah, let's see, so we have the light is right here, right? So that means that we're kinda getting it from here. So
By
yeah, all this
comparison,
shadow.
by comparison, Griff, Jessica's hair color looks like his hair color now. And by comparison, in the same picture, his hair color in the picture is not the same as Jessica's.
Look, the dress is gold, okay? I don't care what anyone else says.
Well, I think you'll find, Griff, that the dress was two-toned. People always described it as two different colors, and now you're saying it's just one color? You're raising
Yeah,
the internet against you, my man.
exactly.
But anyway, we've got a clear hierarchy going on with the Empire. There's very less so with the Alliance, because again,
We need more than 2 living characters is what we need.
well, no, I mean that the Empire had a clear hierarchy. Everybody in the fleet had a naval rank, and they all reported to this dude. And this dude, at the very end of episode 2, reported to this dude.
Mhm.
Whereas over here, we had 3 different fleets with 3 different leaders, all telling each other nothing because they said radio silence. So
Yeah.
literally, we had no hierarchy. We had basically 3 different commanders, and we didn't see anything from their like government. So
Yep, so maybe we'll get that today. So, I think that's all the concept board we got here, right? That's, everything we wanna say?
yeah,
Okay, cool. So, I think with that, last time we went ahead and we saw Yang taking charge. We saw him going head to head with Reinhard with his own plan that he devised in his back pocket for just such an occasion, which ultimately resulted in the funniest draw I've ever seen, where everyone is just going in a circle conga line.
the funniest
Eh,
draw, millions dead,
yeah, well,
hilarious.
it. I'm the Joker, baby. I'm a dog chasing more deaths.
I'm the Joker, baby. Worst song I've ever heard you spitball in your life.
Oh, there we go.
I'm the
Well, there's
Joker,
I don't have a
baby.
murder
Why don't you
music.
kill me?
So, they did do the retreat. They're both going back to their respective homes, and this battle, this attack, completely canceled. So I guess now we're gonna go ahead and see what's everyone's next move. What's actually the mood in the
Jessica would say
room?
otherwise.
Yeah. And we're gonna see maybe more of like what is the underlying motivation factors for like everyone and what are their actual links and causes. I think we're gonna get a whole bunch of info today. Theta, what do you think? You got any thoughts or anything you want to see?
I think if you want my thoughts, you probably want to rewind 20 minutes.
Well, you got any hopes for today? Or any read on the situation?
Sorry, something in the back of my head said my hope for the day was not to shit myself.
So I think with that hope locked in, let's go ahead and watch. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as early access stuff, you can go ahead and follow us over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Go down in the description below, check those links. One of them goes to our Discord. Let us know if you like this show. We'd like to know if we have fans of the show watching.
西暦2801年太陽系第三惑星地球からアルデバラン系第二惑星テオリアに政治的中枢を移した人類は銀河連邦の成立を宣言。同年を宇
Democracy.
宙歴1年とし、飽くなき膨張を開始した。
Universal calendar. That would be UC. That's Gundam.
It's all Gundam series all along.
I mean, that's Universal Century, but still the same letters.
宇宙歴310年国民投票によって銀河連邦首相に選ばれた
Galactic Empire,
ルドルフ・
Golden
ゴールデンバ
Bombs.
ームはさらに議会によって国家元首に選任そして自らを銀河帝国皇帝ルドルフ一世と称し
A dangerous
銀河連
precedent.
邦は崩壊銀河帝
I
国
think that does make
ゴールデ
them
ン
the
バーム王
legitimate
朝が
heirs
成立
of the
した
Galactic Federation.
これは人類統一生態における最初の先制君主の誕生であり
The God Emperor of
独裁者
Mankind,
の
some would
誕
say.
生であった
Already pretty dark. I feel like there's a lot of details we can fill in here about context too.
それは一部の貴族が人民を支配する世界だったルドルフの死後各地で反乱が勃発したがもはや帝
And
国
that's
の
when
基盤
Char
が
led a
揺らぐ
group
こと
of
はなかった
200 cadets at a military
帝国
academy.
歴164年
They're wearing the pith helms. It's like a "Are we the baddies"
Wait,
moment.
wasn't that 10 years ago?
脱出に成功半世紀の航海の末
No,
後
clearly
にハ
not.
イネ
There's
セン
not
と
enough
名
time.
付けられる惑星にたどり着き自由惑星同
Your
盟
people
の
are
成
pilgrims,
立を
Griff.
宣言自分たちこそが銀河連邦の正当な後継者
But they're not. As I just
Okay.
previously said, they're not.
復活させた
But they still have some nobles, apparently.
宇宙歴527年帝国歴
They just keep lining up the numbers.
以来両陣営は150
How
年
can
に
we
わたり
dehumanize our enemies the
戦いの
most?
歴史を
Let's use a
刻み
different
続けて
calendar.
いた
Yeah. Now no one will be able to tell when they're gonna meet because they'll say it's like, "Oh, I want to meet this year." It's like, "Oh, that's 200 years in the future."
But yeah, no, I mean, as I said, I think that makes the Galactic Federation, the Galactic Empire, the actual heirs of the Federation. Considering
They are the continuity, while the Free Alliance is trying to go back to what they were, which was a federation of free people, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, they might carry on the ideology. Sorry, now I'm saying I got a smudge on my TV here. Yeah, they're carrying on the ideologies of the Federation, maybe. But yeah, like you said, continuity exists within the Empire.
I guess I feel like how I'm supposed to feel about it really does depend on the context. Because like, alright, so did he make it all an empire because it's like all discrete ambition and stuff? Did he like did he ruin everything else to get there? Did he like have political machinations in place? Like did he assert control violently and stuff like that? It's like these are all like things that change the character of everything he did when he became emperor. Or like did he see like, oh, the whole system is failing, people are dying, and then goes like, I'm just gonna take charge and solve it.
I mean, my
How it presents it changes the context.
my primary lean on this is that the planets never changed authorities, right?
Mhm.
They were in the Federation, now they're in the Empire. Peaceful transition of authority.
Mhm.
That makes them holdovers, rather. They're
Mhm. Half of all the force in human history. Woo.
well, half of a third.
Yeah.
But what is that in the other calendar?
I don't think the people in the back can see that.
I don't think it matters.
20歳の元帥か。後期ある帝国宇宙艦隊はいつから幼児の玩具になり下がったのです
The title section of my concept board is going to get massacred.
Oh, yeah.
Blonde hairs, blue eyes. I'm getting a bad feeling about this, guys.
It's okay, we got other hair colors out there. You're fine. They're not all silver. He's got green hair. He's very green black.
赤毛の腰巾着は2階級特進だそうだ。
見苦しいぞ。アンスバ派人将。彼らはその地位にふさわしい働きをしたまでのこと。口を慎め。
Why do you have a silver neck thing? And everyone else has a bunch of bars around their neck.
Well, everyone got to choose their uniform, and he made the unpopular
I
choice.
guess maybe Admiral and Admiral above, Rear Admiral and above gets the silver neck.
Maybe.
It does make them identifiable on eyesight.
そうですが、機関はパウル・フォン・オーベルシュタイン大
Yeah,
佐
see, they're both captains and they both get the same
お目
thing.
にかかります。
Oh, okay.
私に何か
Sure hope the Legion doesn't capture you. Wow, you're a cyborg!
Oh, wow.
調子が悪いようだ。
No, they are.
話せたようで申し
You're
訳ない
right.
Oh no, it just had artificial eyes. That doesn't mean he's a
戦
cyborg.
勝を受けられたのですか。いや、生来のものです。
He has been
も
cybernetically
し私が
enhanced.
ルドルフ大帝の時代に生まれていたら、劣悪遺伝子排除法に引っかかって。
Okay, Empire, no good. Got it. Okay, context coming in.
良い情報をお持ちだ。
Clarification. Was no good. Now they give out free prosthetics. Bad? I don't think so.
門閥意識ばかり強い大貴族どもには理解しがたいでしょうが。
Look, eugenics, bad. That's all.
Again, was bad.
情報処理課にいましたが、この度イゼルロン要塞駐留艦隊の幕僚を拝命しました。
I feel like I'm coming from this from the perspective of a guy who's a billionaire and gives all his money away to charity, but my grandpa was also a
Mr.
Nazi. Look, my family was bad, but we're doing good things!
パウル・フォン・オーベルシュタイン大佐です。この度はおめでとうございます。それでは私はこれで。はい。失礼いたします。
Yeah, that's the outfit that I thought about. Maybe I'd have the artist draw me as. And I was like, that's too ostentatious.
Too ostentatious? Not possible.
Oh, it's also he doesn't appear to wear it all the time. I need an outfit for more all the time.
最も公敵が多いと用心もなかなか難しいが。はい。明日姉上に会う。お前も来るだろう。よろしいのですか。当たり前だろう。何を今
Gotta be a pain in the eye though to have eyes that go in the fritz every so often.
あの頃
Like, you just gotta keep them updated, you know?
Yeah, but then you can't see the
決して手が届かないもの。手を伸ばそうと思ったことすらないもの。それが変わったのは。じゃあな。また明日ね。隣の門が開いてる。
He's bringing lunch.
God, my dog craps a lot.
ええ、そう聞いたけど。そんな風に見えなかったけどな。
貴族と言ってもいろいろさ。そうそう。明日にでもパルドルの乱が咲きそうだよ。
はあ、本当？
I can't imagine living in an era or in a family where blooming flowers are a cause for childhood excitement.
You can be excited about a lot of things.
Can't imagine it. That's why I said, Griff. I didn't say you can't be excited.
君は？僕はラインハルト・フォン・ミューゼル。君は？
It's a different name than you have now.
ジークフリード・キルヒアイス。ジークフリードだなんて俗な名前だ。でもキルヒアイスって姓はいいな。とても素敵だ。僕は君を姓で呼ぶことにする。いいだろ、キルヒアイス。え？ラインハルト？
Are you being classist again, Reinhard? What have I told you?
姉さん、ラインハルト、ここにいたの。姉さん、紹介するよ。
I mean, are they being classist? They're a noble family.
ジークフリード・キルヒアイス。私は
You can have classes within classes.
Are you blaming him for being born into a system of which he has no control over and is currently a child, Griff?
We all make our own choices, Theta.
Not as
He's
children.
just a humble commoner.
Not as children, Griff. If there's one thing I've learned from the Vinland Saga comments, blaming a 6-year-old child for the circumstances of the world around them is apparently a bad call.
Let's see how well he handles elementary school.
あれでフォンだってよ。まったく、可愛げのねえ貴族様だぜ。ちゃんと呼び出しておい
And I say this having known him for exactly half of a day.
とっとと閉めちまう。
ラインハルトを見なかったかい？
さっき上級生に呼び出されてたけど。
The older kids, they're only about one thing.
Look, all I know is even as a kid, if I heard a bunch of people say like, yeah, I want to see you out back like at X time or something, I'd be like, no. But he won. Is
これで奴らも懲りただろう。
that a floppy disk on the ground?
Well, he just threw a rock on the ground, so.
姉さんに知られたら悲しませてしまう。
Sticks and stones may break your bones, but this Glock means you'll never hurt me.
どう？
Wow, this progressed really
少
quickly.
しは温まったかしら？はい。噴水に落ちちゃうなんて、よっぽど元気が余っ
A
ているの
Kool-Aid
ね。
fountain.
Jumping in the fountain to cover up the dirt.
おかしな子たちね。ケルシーのケーキを用意したから、服を着替えて召し上がれ。
That cake does look nice. Adorable, precocious kids.
そうだ、キルヒアイス。
I don't know what way you think they're
今日も姉さんが
precocious.
ケルシーのケーキを焼いてくれるって。本当？僕あれ大好きなんだ。
Well, apparently, Reinhard is already a badass, so.
あの紋章、なんで君んちに？お、ラインハルト？姉さんをどうしたんだ？
仕方がないんだ。陛下がお望みなんだ。
Sis got heiressed.
これは
Oh, gosh.
That's a reference you're only gonna get if you're following us on Mushoku Tensei.
僕の姉さんを。
ラインハルト、いい加減にしろ。
You know what? He gives me the feel of,
もう決まったことだ。
God, what was the name of the movie, the musical?
いいの。いい
The
の。
Lion
ライン
King.
ハルト、
No, the guy who plays Wolverine in it.
これでいいの。
About the Barnum and Bailey or the circus guy.
Don't know.
Greatest Show, something like that. Anyway, his dad in that movie, when he was a kid.
ジーク。短い時間だったけど、ありがとう。これ、よかったら食べて。
It's a whole cake.
ラインハルトのこと頼むわね。さよなら、ジーク。
And from here on out, it was 20 years of I ate your sister's pie jokes.
Ah, that'd be insufferable.
Yeah, basically, it's literally, we just watched that episode of Mushoku Tensei. And it's literally that, happening to Reinhardt's sister.
Uh,
I'm also putting together here. Reinhardt has blonde hair. I mean, blonde eyes, blonde hair. Much like Char, which I know I've already mentioned before. But we also just saw him do physical feats of beating up a group of older kids without so much as a scratch. Kind of like Char. I think Reinhard's a Char clone.
どこへ行ってたんだ。その服。幼年学校に入ったんだ。幼年学校。
He even suffered like a negative thing in his life and immediately ran off and joined the military.
Your family just kind of got completely wrecked just a moment ago. Running off is a good idea.
Yeah, like I said, I never thought about it before, but I think Reinhard is a Char clone. He just lacks a mask. You know, not all Char clones require masks. Or maybe it's like a metaphysical mask. It's the mask he puts on in front of others.
Baby Commander.
大貴族の指定さ。重木を連れて身の回りの世話をさせている。そんな奴が戦場に行けるのか。行かないさ。連中のほとんどは軍に入隊しても後方勤務に回される。前線に出て命を落とす気などさらさらない。これが帝国貴族だ。
Huh.
There we go.
A lot of American politicians, huh?
We have a... Wait, those are laser guns.
Yeah, why not? This is the future, Griff. Just because they're dressed like 1800s British officers doesn't mean...
It's laser tag. Surrounded by the worst.
あんな奴らの風下に立つべき理由は何一つないんだ。
Well, he is now in control of 1/6 of all the fleets of humanity.
Meanwhile, Jack the Ripper kills another.
It's like Jason X in space, Jack the Ripper in space. What? The statue's eyes.
I mean, it's very much what I expect from like Warhammer 40k, right? Any
Yeah.
picture of the Empire, any picture of the Emperor also has cameras in it to make sure you salute it when you walk past.
よく来てくれたわね、ラインハルト。ジークも。
アンネローゼ様もお元気そうで何よりです。
ありがとう。あなたたちが来るのを何日も前から待っていたのよ。さあ、中へ入りましょう。
変わらない。あの頃と何も。たとえ銀河皇帝であろうとも。
I mean, she literally hasn't. That's the surprising thing.
Yeah.
These two have grown up completely. Oh, I don't know. She looks taller now that I look at her side by side.
ケルシーのケーキもどうぞ。
She even has the same cake.
お口に合うかわかりませんけど。
I know how to get one thing.
まあ、意地悪だこと。
とても美味しいです。
よかったわ。ねえ、ジーク。サゾやラインハルトが迷惑をかけているでしょうね。
いえ、そのような。本心を言って良いのだぞ。
ダメよ、からかっては。
I do feel like maybe we got like too much of the abridged version of like their whole like childhood fun times here.
Oh yes, the childhood fun times of my sister got abducted by the Emperor, so I joined the military academy.
I mean, like, I feel like we don't have like enough solid events of like the shenanigans they get into. We just have like the further implication of it is all.
Maybe they didn't get any. Maybe it was like an ordinary life, Griff.
この年齢で大佐などと身に余ると思っております。
もうすぐ少々でしょ。聞きましたよ。
So wait, he was a captain at this age, and then somehow from here, when Reinhard is like his equal,
Mhm.
Reinhard becomes High Admiral. I'd have to double inspect Reinhardt's neck. Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
弟には才能があります。でもあなたほど大人ではありません。自分の足の速さに溺れて断崖から転落するカモシカのようなそんな危うさ。
Not an analogy I'm familiar with.
I mean, I guess we're still also seeing elements of that from the first 2 episodes too, right? Everyone is calling him like a little bit haughty, and he almost throws the entire battle.
弟はあなたの忠告なら受け入れるでしょう。
私にできることなら何でもいたします。ラインハルト様に対する私の忠誠心を信じてください。決してアンネローゼ様のお心に背くようなことはいたしません。
ありがとう。
Point a note that she wasn't next to the Kaiser during the ceremony, or anywhere invisible that I saw.
もっと見つけやすい場所に置いてくれればよかったのに。
ご苦労様。でも苦労した価値はあってよ。今グラスを持ってくるわね。
Okay, I almost thought we were gonna hear like a crash of glasses or something, and she collapses. Or, like I said, she wasn't there in the future, in a thing that I think she would be there for.
キルヒアイス、こう考えてみたことはないか。ゴールデンバーム王朝は人類発生以来続いてきたわけじゃない。始祖はこの傲慢不遜なルドルフだ。
The red-nosed reindeer.
成り上がりの野心家に過ぎなかった。それが時流に乗って神聖不可侵の皇帝などになりを仰せたんだ。なあ、キルヒアイス。ルドルフに可能だったことが俺には不可能だと思うか。
Like literally linked you a clip of another show of literally somebody else saying this exact thing. What makes a noble family noble?
Right, right.
Somewhere in the past, somebody had to make that transition. If they can do it, then anybody can do it.
There we go. We now know the trajectory of this show, at least for these two.
Well, to be fair, this all started with Kirches saying, "I remember that night we both looked up at the stars." So literally just waiting for that.
戻るぞ。我らが戦場に。御意。
He does have a different neck thing.
A revolution of exactly 2 people.
You, who's in love with Full Metal Alchemist, would say something about this. You, who surprisingly did not put Full Metal Alchemist on your top 5 shows.
Well, I assume that question was for a different top 5, but whatever.
I literally said, what was your favorite top 5 shows that we watched? And you're like, oh, a bunch of these. I'm like, wow, Full Metal Alchemist is not on here. I didn't think that. I thought you said it was your favorite show, but I guess not.
This is the problem with me and making lists. It's like, I like everything. I
think the problem is that I hold you to something you say, like, this is my favorite show. And then I ask your opinion on something, and it's absent from your list of favorite things.
But it's my favorite show this week. I don't know.
I think it found its way under our watch list because you said it was your favorite show.
Still, about this show, I do like our relationship here between Reinhard and Kizarek, right?
Who the fuck is Kizarek?
How do you pronounce it?
Kirches.
Kirches.
That's how I pronounce it. I mean, I may be proven wrong, but I'm pretty fucking sure. Pretty fucking sure there's not a Z in his name anywhere.
Kizarek.
Who the fuck is
Kizarek, you know?
Kizarek.
次回銀河英雄伝説リ・ノイエテーゼ第4話腐敗の魔術師
Yeah, like I told you before, I'm pretty sure that your guys get the moniker of the unbeatable magician. Or I said something about a magician last time.
Mm-hmm.
So
my guy we're going to get
prodigy.
His backstory next time.
And my guy is the prodigy and your guy is the magician.
Yeah.
My guy is just fucking brilliant. Your guy just pulls shit out of his ass.
Yeah, the trickster hero is a classic archetype.
Name 5.
Odysseus. Odysseus in 4 disguises. There.
I'm surprised you didn't try to say Loki or something.
Loki is actually a very funny one to kind of add to the list for sure.
Literally the
That's
trickster
like an
god.
entire diatribe right there to talk about.
Literally
Loki's
the
position
trickster
in...
god, Griff. You just named 5 trickster gods, and I think you would have got a pass.
Oh, probably. Still, I like the relationship that we have here between our 2 leads of the Empire here. I do feel, like I said, that we skipped over a bunch. Like, we're getting the flash notes of it, right? The same way we got the flash notes of the history, and now we have to infer a whole lot of other things happening when someone says, like, oh yeah, if it was like years ago, I would have just been killed by the eugenics movement.
I mean, every time in Gundam when we talk about the Great War that happened just before the characters showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, again, he said Rudolph the First, which we know we're a number of years away from now. You're like, well, this country was formed by Nazis. They still have to be bad, right? Well, it's like, well, no, because you're then inferring that all of Germany is still bad right now because they were all Nazis at one point.
I only have 2 pieces of evidence right now to go on. The first is that they're monarchs. That's already in the bad category for me for reasons I've explained before.
Sorry, no, I'm squinting
Monarchs
because
are
your
good.
camera froze for a moment. I was like, you got stuck doing this for like half of your intro.
Isan, yeah.
No, this
All right.
way in front towards you. There's 2 reasons why.
So yeah, no, first reason, they're already monarchs. Second reason, we got a drop of like, oh yeah, someone literally died.
Okay, so 1,
So that's all we got so
Griffin
far.
hates the UK, and then 2,
Yes.
also Japan, ironically, because they also have a monarchy. So you get the princess.
Debatable.
Not really, because there's a princess from Japan got married like 10 years ago, married off, and they have the same sort of thing going on as the UK does.
I think it's different, but I'm less familiar
Okay,
with
so
the
Griff
specifics
is
of how the
making-
Emperor interferes with current modern day Japan.
Griff is
than I
making
am-
exceptions for different monarchies, so he's showing favoritism to the noble classes, depending on which ones serve him better. I.e., which
Well, I'm
ones have the
saying I
countries
just don't
where
know as
anime
much as I
comes
do
from.
about the other one.
Uh-huh. Alright, so you're losing some ground here, is what I'm saying.
Not at all.
Also, all I'm saying is that the Empire is now a place where people with medical deficiencies get automatic replacements for them.
Mm-hmm.
The guy got brand new eyes, whereas he was born with defective eyes.
I got defective eyes, but no one's forcing me to do anything.
No, he never implied that he was forced to. He said, I was
I believe
born
the
with a
alternative is
medical
get
defect.
killed.
That's not what he said. He said under Rudolph the First, I would have been killed.
Right.
We know that Rudolph the First was a long time ago.
We have a bunch of implications. Again, this is the point I'm really making. We got a bunch of implications, and we got to piece it together. We got to do that with like Siegfried's and Reinhard's like history here too. What happened to Siegfried's home family? Why was that room wrecked?
I'm going to address that in a second, but before we move on, I want to say it's effectively, your argument is like, if we said, if this was back in King Leonidas' times, I would have been thrown off a cliff. We have no idea how long and distance it was from Rudolph the First to now, due to the
apparently about 400 years.
Due to the fucking weird calendar system thing going on. But my idea, I'm saying it's the same thing, is that we can't say, oh, because the Spartans existed, all of us are fucked, right? All we know is that this guy said 400 years ago or whatever, I would have been killed at birth. But now they're giving me super cool android eyes. So...
Right. We have more to learn and more to see, but the focus of the episode was on the 2 main characters, which understandable.
Well, no, the focus of the episode was on one of 2 main characters. The other main character apparently next episode. because we're going back and forth constantly.
I would definitely call Siegfried also a main character. Siegfried and Reinhard are a package.
Well, I mean, yes, but he's not one of the main characters. The main characters, I would suggest, are the namesake of the show, the legends of the Galactic Heroes, if you will. Sorry, I put the
If
emphasis on the wrong
Yang
word.
keeps Lao around, I'm gonna call Lao a main character, alright?
You mean our Patrick Colasar of the show?
Yeah, exactly. That's him, you're right.
No, I was just thinking if Lao was the Siegfried to the other side. And I don't think so. Siegfried is in every fucking shot with Reinhard. Lao was in 2 shots
Mm-hmm.
of the entire 2 first episodes.
Right, so maybe he'll get more screen time in the future. I mean, I'm kind of hoping. But yeah, we still had like a lot of implications with like what's going on. Like, how did Reinhard beat those kids, or what did he do? He got like scuffed up,
He
and
used a
they dropped
rock.
a bunch of stuff.
You saw he dropped a rock.
All right, so
He
they
beat
just
them
like
with a
come
rock.
by with the rock.
Well,
Where's all the blood?
It's on his jacket. What are you talking about? He had
That was
blood on his.
dirt.
That was blood. It was red, Griff.
It was brown.
One, they were standing on cobblestone, and the only dirt was past gates that they didn't get past because he saw him standing in the middle of cobblestone. So when you see a dude covered in little bits of red all over his jacket, he's holding a rock, and we know he just got into a fight with other human
Why
beings.
is the rock bloodless, Theta?
Well, we didn't see the whole rock. Literally, he dropped it on the ground, and then it was underneath the cameras. You would make a horrible cop. Is all I'm saying. Just for a number,
Look, I played
for
LA
a number
Noir
of
once.
a number of obvious reasons you'd make a cop, but in this one specific case, you would make a bad detective as well.
I played LA Noir once. There was a mystery where, like, it's like, you go investigate this drug den, and it's just like, oh, hey, popcorn cups. Huh, that's weird. Put it down. Don't find it. Turns out, if you just turned it upside down, oh, look, there's drugs on the bottom of it.
Oh, you mean the prime game mechanic of all of LA Noir?
Yes,
Picking shit
exactly.
up and looking at it from every angle.
I would be a terrible detective.
And I know,
work entirely on social cues and talk. I don't know how to search a room for shit.
and I know from your description of the event you're talking about, it's not a thing I've gotten to, so I know it's not like within the first hour of the game, which means
It's like maybe event 3 or 4 or something.
which means that it by a time you should have already known the game mechanics.
Yep.
You've picked up how many newspapers by that point? So literally,
Yeah.
literally, just also bad at video games is all I'm hearing.
But yeah, no, we're still left with an implication of that scene where we don't know exactly what happened. We're left with the implication of like what's happening with the sister precisely. What's their relationships with the Kaiser? Why is this happening? Who benefits from it at all? And what's happening to her? No one says it outright.
Despite the fact you're a horrible fucking detective, you still say the shit all detectives say. Who stands to benefit from this? As I said, though, she's not at the event of his coronation, which you fucking would think his sister, who's with the Kaiser, would appear with the Kaiser for. So
yeah.
you can only assume that she's dead, and I anticipated a crash of glasses, she collapsed or something. Didn't happen.
Because that would be direct, like, direct text then, right? It wouldn't just be we have to imply like what's happened to her after that. And then of course, I mentioned and you had something to say. It's like, why was Siegfried's house ruined? What happened there? What's going on?
Like I said, his dad looks like the greatest show. That's the name of the name of the movie.
Maybe.
His dad looks like that. And they just wander around all the time. It just looks like he has a very frustrating job or position in life, and that maybe he owes people money. That sort of thing.
You think he like wrecked the place out of anger, or like other people came by to collect? Or both?
I don't know. I'm not willing to make a guess on that because it's too variable. Could literally be anything. They just moved into the house. Like, so
yes, we have a.
And also, I said right when he said his name back then isn't the name he has. Well, it's not the last name that he has now, which means his last name changed. And unless he transitioned into a woman, got married to Kirches, or sorry, what did you say, Kirksizat? What did you say his fucking name was?
Kierkegaard, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that famous German philosopher. And then changed back into a man.
Mhm.
Although I guess I'm also giving away gender identity as it comes up with taking your man's last name. I don't know. There's a lot to unpackage here, just in those few sentences alone. My point being is that he doesn't have the last name now as he did
Yeah.
back then, because it was what, Mosen or something like that back then,
Yes.
and now it's what, Longheim or something like that. I forgot.
You got it on the chart. You can check.
Da, 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 da.
But yeah, we're just left with the implication, and like that's the reason he left.
Lohengramm.
Things look terrible. Why? We just kind of keep moving on.
I didn't look at the chart actually. I had a bunch of notes here that I didn't read out loud, where I basically put everybody's name and where I thought they were, like A for ally, N for neutral.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of went back and forth on that, and I realized all the previous abbreviations, I didn't remember what the letters stood for. Like, I put a P next to somebody. I was like, what does P stand for? This is bad when I've made the abbreviation and I don't know what it means.
You know, this does also bring up like a good thing to change on our little concept board, though. We now know Reinhard is in direct opposition with the actual Emperor right now.
We don't know that.
He literally says he wants to be Emperor. He's got to get rid of the Courage one.
That doesn't mean he has to. I mean, until he goes against the Emperor, I don't. Emperor? Why do you keep saying Emperor? He's the Kaiser.
Yeah,
What? It's German, Grip. It's very fucking German. He's the Kaiser of the Empire. But, I mean, until he goes against it, the Kaiser is giving him all these fucking positions. The Kaiser is giving him everything, which is a positive back and forth.
We could have two different perceptions of it from two different characters, for sure.
Well, until he does something, I don't think it's worthy of change.
Mm-hmm. So we just have an inbuilt moment that'll come up in the future. He's got to make the move. He's got to become in charge, and we got to see what the world looks like after that, I think. But
Well,
that's like a long way down the line, right?
a
There's no way
galaxy.
that happens 3 episodes in.
It's a galaxy.
Yeah.
We put it on one world.
Galaxy
We'd be
far,
really,
far away.
well, if it was one world, we'd really be limiting the scope of the show. The scope seems to be really wide.
So, still, we at least have the mood of what everything is supposed to be. And I want to know more. But we're going to go to my boy Yang next time. So, I think with that, let's go ahead and call for date. This has been Stoneface Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin. That's Theta. We'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?